We're playing games. Welcome back to Digital December. Today we are navigating just Barry's basics. We will also talk about inside of Barry's how to set up your 24-hour market watch and maybe why you might want to do that. And then assuming that there's time, we'll show you how to take it from Barry's over into ShowingTime for showing properties. So we're just going to kind of show you the interconnected tools there for Barry's. If you aren't familiar with how to get to BAREIS, it's norcal.mls.com. We'll get you to this login screen. Once you log in, it'll get you to this actual screen. A couple of things here that you should be aware of in case you didn't know this, but there is a useful links box down here. Yours may look a little different because you can rearrange or change this up a little bit, but useful links. The major things that you're going to find here are you've got your listing and input change there. So you've got a quick link to that, keys and lockbox. So you've got some good things there. Over here on the other side too, you've got membership. And under your membership, that's where you can go in and make sure that your BAREIS account is paid and brought current. So a couple of things there. You've got your productivity tools, which you've been kind of going through little by little, so you can cover those. That's where you find all of that information. Let's see here. And then links that takes you to different things connected to our association, like the NSCAR website, the CAR website, North Bay Association of Realtors. There's a there. Make sure you navigate through this page and spend some time there. For MLS, your main one's going to just be BAREIS Plus. So remember, BAREIS Plus does all the counties of BAREIS, which is Sonoma, Marin, Napa, Solano, Mendocino. But then it does several more as well. So they've combined forces with like Metro List and Contra Costa and the East Bay Association. And so we've got access to all those different MLSs through one search. So if you click on BAREIS MLS, it will open up that next page. They did update this about a week ago, so it does look a little different if you haven't logged in a while. This is your homepage for BAREIS. And again, this one, you can change up this dashboard. You can, if you click the little X here in, not the X, but the cross, the plus sign, kind of with arrows. You can click on that and you can drag those little squares around so that what you use the most is at the top of the page and what you use least is at the bottom of the page. So just something to keep in mind there. And then you can, a lot of these you can toggle between like a list, like this market watch right now is a list, and you can toggle between a chart and a list there. So just kind of know that you can do that. Same thing with like listings, you could edit those. Okay, so just some super easy things there. Your market watch right here, it used to be called 24-hour market watch. Then they added functionality to it where you can actually go back, like up to 7 days for the market watch. So you can set these up. So you used to be very limited on what you could have in this box. Like you could just do select certain areas or counties, and then it would choose everything else. But now it's got where you can go back and set those market watches. So you can save searches for each city, for whatever you've got prospects going on, right? Whatever you've got. So like this is the 24-hour market watch for Vacaville. If I go back one day, it'll show me the new listings that have come on the market in the last 24 hours. If it's been a couple days since I checked it, then I could go back 2 days. So why is this important and why would you want to set up your market watch? The number one thing is that if you ever hear me teach on what you should be doing on a regular basis is that you should be keeping up to date of what's coming on the market. That way, you're having conversations with potential clients and they're like, oh yeah, we were thinking about, adding to our house. And you're gonna be like, oh my gosh, there is actually, instead of adding to your house, why don't you buy a different house? We can sell yours and purchase another one. And there's a really cute 4-bedroom home with a swimming pool that just came on the market today. I apologize for the screaming child. Right. So that's why you want to know what the new listings are. You want to know what's been coming back on the market, and you want to know what's had price reductions. Ultimately, that's my tool for using this. So it's nice to be able to just go in there and do that. Fairfield, we've got this. So what we can do here is you can go to add a saved search, or we can go to manage. So I'm going to click on manage, which is going to pull up my existing searches. Anytime you save a search, it's going to give you the option of if you want to save it as a market watch. So if you want to have the ability to have it on your drop down, you probably don't want every search on that drop down. You just want ones that you're going to use. So if I go into 24-hour Vacaville, I can hit revise. Here's where it shows me. So I just have it set up to show coming soon and active. So I probably want to add all of the status is there. And then I've got residential properties, and then I've got the city of Vacaville. It doesn't matter on this close date. It goes back several months. That's fine, because I'm just going to pull up the last like 7 days. Okay. So on that market watch. So but you may want to say, hey, we just want residential properties, and we don't want, who knows, lots and land. Maybe that's a separate one. Or maybe you want to, well, this just has residential. So it's pulling all these residential properties. Okay. So we're going to hit save, and it's going to say, hey, do you want to save as market watch? See, here's that toggle for market watch on, and I'm going to say, yeah, save. And it's going to say, hey, it already exists. You want to override the existing one? Yes, I do. That was my intention, as I'm updating those things. So now if I go back, I hit the little home dashboard here, or the little home button in the upper left-hand corner. It'll take me back here. Here it's got that market watch. So now if I go back to 24-hour Vacaville, and I go back 2 days, it's going to tell me all the new listings in Vacaville that have come on the market in the last 2 days. The ones that have had price reductions, contingents, the ones that have gone pending, the ones that have closed, expired, and inactive. Okay. So that's the joy of that. So that's 2 days. I might want to say, hey, we just want 1 day. There's in the last 24 hours what's happened in the 24-hour watch. So if you get in the habit every morning of checking your 24-hour watch for the areas that you service. So I've got 20 Vacaville, Dixon, Fairfield, but I might want to go to my market watch, which would be all the areas that I cover on a regular basis, so I can see them all at once. And then if you click on new listings, it'll actually pull up that search for you so that you can see what's coming soon and what is new here on that market watch, so that you can actually scroll through those and look and see what's coming on the market, what the prices are, what the lots look like, what the updates are. So super cool feature there on that 24-hour market watch. Now I did move this around. When you move your dashboard around, you're going to need to save it. I think you just come up here to the little settings button. This is how you can turn on which modules you see and what you don't. Okay, and then you can just hit save. I don't know why it won't save this. Somehow there's a way to edit it. I don't know exactly. Oh, look at, you can take that picture off too. You can take the announcements off by toggling on that picture. That's a new one. All right. But there you go. Okay. So there's that. On BAREIS, I use you can go into your admin, into your preferences, which I recommend doing. Okay, under your preferences, this is where you, kind of all your preferences and your default settings are. Preferred county, preferred city, that goes for my listing inputs. My search default, you've got all these different lists of types of searches or reports that come up. I like the one-line grid. Okay, so, and I recommend everybody go to the one-line grid, because the thing about the one-line grid is that it allows you to sort it like an Excel spreadsheet. You can click on any header, any column, and it'll resort those listings based on what you clicked on. So I like that. The default size measurement, you can toggle between acres and square feet. Square feet's usually better. And then you can sort how you want it sorted. This is how you want those reports to go out. Prospecting, all your defaults are in here. This is where you can edit those client portal invitations, which is the invite that you can send to clients if you set them up on a property search where they can go in there and actually like sort through their listings and set up new searches. This is the auto prospecting update. So if I have a saved search and somebody's got a new match, this is what goes out with that new match. Here's what it shows on the map defaults for the interactive map searches. So you can set up so many. There's got the new MLS listing. You can opt into that. I haven't done it yet, but that's the new update that's out. So you've got all sorts of things there. Once you're done, you hit save. Okay, now on that, searches, I use two searches. I use generally a standard search or the interactive map search. Okay, you can also go into your save searches here, which we'll talk about that here in a second, but we're just going to go into a standard search. That's going to bring up your standard options, property types, property subtypes, what statuses do you want to see, what price range. Keep in mind here, if we put in a bottom price range, it's not going to show us anything below that, but you don't have to put in a bottom price range. You could just put in a top price range and it'll search everything from 0 up to that. Or if we put 500 here, with nothing in the upper price range, it'll search everything over 500,000. So just because there are two options there doesn't mean you have to fill in both of them. Okay, counties, anytime you've got these with the little papers next to them, if you hit that, it will give you the option to check off the counties that you want. Or you can start typing and it'll pop up. I highly recommend once it pops up that you click on it so that it's the official acronym or option that's selected by BAREIS. All right. Okay, so we got Solano County there and cities. Keep in mind, you don't have to do both city and county. You can do just city or you can do just county. So you've got some options there under that. So you don't have to do both. So if you're like, hey, I want everything in Solano County, then you would put in the county versus if you want just a city, just plug in the city. The areas and districts are the sub areas that you'll see when you input the listings. I would not search by that only because that's only as accurate as the information people put into the MLS, which is generally not very accurate. And then you've got sub districts or zip codes. You can search by those. Here, give me just a second. Let me see if I can get her happy over here. Or she's not yelling at me. All right. Okay. Okay, zip codes, bedrooms. Bedroom is the same thing as price. It's minimum and maximum. So if I say, hey, I want all 3 bedrooms, it's going to search anything that's 3 bedrooms or more. Versus if I put something in here, it's only going to search up to 3-bedroom home. It's not going to search 4, 5, or 6-bedroom homes. We talked about this the other day. Oops, don't put 0. Go to the top. We talked about this the other day too with the bathrooms. The total bathroom count. So if I put 2 here, it's going to look at both full bathrooms and partial bathrooms. So partial bathrooms, it's going to count as a total bathroom. So if I put 2 bathrooms here, it's going to search they've got to have at least 2 partial bathrooms. Okay. If I search full bathrooms and I put, hey, we want 3 bathrooms, it's only going to pull homes there that have 3 full bathrooms. Okay. So if you're looking for a property with 2.5 bathrooms, don't fill in the full bathrooms at 3. Sorry, we're trying to keep littles happy. Don't fill in the 3 there because it's not going to pull up those half bathrooms. It's only going to pull up the ones that have 2 or 3 full bathrooms. Okay. Let's see here. We've got living area. Again, you don't have to fill in both the minimum and the maximum. You can pick one or the other. Same thing with lot size. And there on lot size, you can see it defaults me because I've got it set up on my preferences to square feet, but you can update to acres. So if you are searching bigger properties or looking for something over 1/4 of an acre, instead of figuring out what the square footage is for that, we can just toggle over to acres and say, hey, we want 0.25. Okay, so you've got some options there under lot size. If you wanted to search by listing agent, buyer agent, maybe you're trying to look up your own properties. I actually have a save search set up to pull all of my properties into one search. So it makes it easy for me to just go straight back into that to find properties that I've previously sold over the years. You can search your agent ID if you're looking for another listing agent or another buyer agent. You can just click that little piece of paper. You can plug in, you know, the name of the agent that you're looking for, and it'll pull it up there. If we click the little box and hit OK, it pulls that data straight into that box. Okay, if you're trying to pull your own, you probably want, hey, listing agent, and then there's an and or. So if we say and, then it's saying, hey, it's only going to pull what's in this box and this box versus or. So if I take this same code here and put it in the buyer agent ID, then it's going to pull up anything that I was either the listing agent on or the buyer agent on. And it's just pulling things in Vacaville that are current because I've only got coming soon and active selected there. Okay. If maybe I wanted to pull up all the other listings for our office, then we come in here and we say Realty 1 Group Fox, hit search. There's several options here. So I'm going to say, hey, I want all of them. Hit OK. And then that would allow me to pull up the properties that are currently. So if I was looking maybe to host an open house or something like that, that would allow me to pull that. So I've got Solano County. Let's take out Vacaville. I can't imagine we don't have any active listings. Oh, because I've got 3 full bathrooms. Let's take that out. That'll change everything. Right. So that's going to pull up all the listings. Oh, and I've got over 1/4 of an acre. So let's take out some of those criteria. This up here, see, I've got 29 total listings for our office. I think I selected, let's take the contingent and pending off now. Active and coming soon. So if I was looking to host an open house for somebody in our office, coming down here to this search and plugging in the listing ID would be a great way to be able to do that. And keep in mind too, that you could save this search. So now if I wanted to save it, I just come up here to the top and hit save. Okay. And then it's going to say, hey, what do we want to save it? We're going to say ROG Fox listings. I'm going to say active listings. And then I'm going to toggle the market watch to on, and I'm going to hit save. And now what it's going to do is it's going to save that search on, so I can pull it up on that market watch. Okay. And I may decide that, hey, I want these pending and closed, what's been temporarily pulled off or expired. I'm going to resave that. So I just come back up here to the top, hit the save button. Keep the name the same, hit save. It's going to say, hey, do you want to override the existing? Yes, I do. There's that. Now to get from here to actually see those listings, you have a couple of options. One is you can hit search. The second option is that you can hit view results right here. Yours might say something like view potentials or something. Mine auto calculates, that's inside my preferences for it to auto tabulate anytime I change a setting here. It automatically counts how many listings it's going to pull up there. Okay. But you can change that setting. Otherwise, you just have to hit like a preview count or something to that effect. It'll pull that number up, and then you can hit view results, or you can hit search. So we're going to hit view results. That's going to take us to that one line grid format that I was talking about. So this is that one line grid. Here's why I like it. I can hit any of these headings up here, status, and it'll resort by status. It can sort by, and if I double click it, now it's going descending, right? The end of the alphabet up. I can sort by price. I can sort by days on market. So there's so many options that you can do. The other thing that you can do is you can come in here to customize grid. And that's going to open up a whole nother screen, which is going to allow you to change up what the categories are on that grid. So maybe you want the selling agent's name, maybe you want the swimming pool on there, whatever it might be. Maybe you want number of units. We would just click on it and we would click add at. If we just leave it blank, it's going to add it at the end. If we wanted like this to be higher up here, we could say, hey, add it 40 and hit add, and now it added that here up in this line item instead of at the end. Whereas if I had left it alone, it would have added it at the end. Okay, then what you want to do is after you do it, you're going to hit save if that's how you want it to display, and then we're going to go back to list. Okay, you can also take things off by just selecting them from the other column and hit remove. So now right here it has number of units. Okay. So I added that column in. So that's why my column has so many things in here, because it's got all that information in there. And I added lot square foot and lot acreage. So I have both items in there to make it flow a little easier for me. So there's that. So that's how you edit that grid format. If you want to see something, you just click on it. Click on the MLS number, you can pull up that MLS, and then here you can just, at the top, you can toggle through the list. The single arrow is just going to go one property at a time through those listings. If you hit this one, it's going to hop you to the last listing or the first listing. So that's how that section works there. Once you're inside a listing, it'll tell you who the listing agent is. If you want their information, you can just click on their name. It'll pop up a new window with their contact information. If you wanted the property information, you come down here and you click on that APN number. It's going to open up a new screen with all the tax information. So this is a good way if you're writing an offer on a property where you're going to get the seller's information to put on that purchase agreement, the seller's names. Great way to do that. It'll also show you what the current assessed value is. It'll tell you what the current tax amount is. So you've got different options there as well. And then it'll show you what that breakdown is for the taxes. Okay, so it shows you, this is where you can find out this CFD, that's the fire department or whatever. That is a Melrose, even though it's not listed as Melrose, it is. So you've got assessments and then you've basically got Melrose. All properties are going to have some minor ones on there because the voters of, Solano County or Sacramento, they keep voting new property assessments in, which is fabulous. They're raising property taxes. I have a whole opinion on that I won't get into today. But so everything's got some, like these bonds are things that were voted into. If you've got like the San Francisco Bay Rust Off Measure A, that was something that was voted into place. So if you want to know how that affects your property taxes, you can actually go in there and look. Whereas these things up here are actually like Melrose, they're additional assessments. So it's not uncommon. The SID assessment too, that's because they fall within the Solano Irrigation District. Your global series, that's something that was voted on. So that's where you can see. So every property, most properties, especially in Solano County, have a couple $100 of assessments, which are like bonds and stuff, versus special assessments or Melrose, which is like this big number, this 2,000. So if you see here, the assessed value total is only like 134,000 on this property, but their taxes are $12,000, and a lot of that is in part to this isn't even truly making sense what it's totaling up to. So I'm not sure what oh, here we go. Tax total is here. So this was the 2023 total. This is the 2024 total. And then this is the tax totals. 2024 was 4794. And a lot of that is from those special assessments. Okay. So that's what you find there in that by clicking on the APN number. Super valuable there. Okay, other than that, you just get all the information that's been inputted into the MLS by scrolling through this information. Okay, any questions so far? All right, fabulous. So the other search that I like here, so this was the standard search. You've got lots of options. You can search by APN, open house, agent office, listing number, right? Address, radius, custom, standard, quick. I like standard, so I usually use the standard search. Oh, the other thing with the standard search before I leave this page is if I go back to revise criteria, which is where I set up that criteria, some things are, the basic information is on this first page. Okay, there is a second tab here called additional criteria. This is all alphabetical, but this is where you'd find like you could sort through number of units or number of rooms, number of fireplaces. If fireplaces were important to your client, you could say, hey, we need one fireplace. Right?
Really?
Yeah.
I don't know if you already went over this, but on my, like, so when I go to my search, like if I do a standard search, all the freaking boxes at the top are clicked in automatically, like mobile home, land, residential. How do I fix this? So it defaults only to residential.
Yeah, so if you go into admin and your preferences, under here where it says searching defaults, that's where you just want to check that box for residential. So you've got, it's probably got all these boxes checked or several of them. If we just check the residential, then it'll default to just residential. So you don't have to uncheck a bunch of boxes every time you go search.
Okay, thank you.
Absolutely. Oh, just so you guys know, this counts on the fly right here. That's where, you know, how it was auto-populating, how many potential listings would come up with that criteria. That box being checked, that's what pulls that number every time you make a change and tells you how many listings there are. Okay, now if I go back to home and I'm like, oh man, Adriana asked a question. She caused me to fall out of my search and now I'm back at the home page. I got to start all over. You don't. Okay. Right over here, there's a box called Your Recent Searches. Somewhere on your home screen, it's going to have a box called Your Recent Searches. And with that box, you can pull up anything that you've searched for recently. So this search right here was at 919 on 217. I can hit View Criteria, or I can just click on it. If I click on it, it's going to pull me right back to where I left off on that search. So it's not uncommon for us to be working on something and then somebody calls and asks a question and we hop over to do that. And you go, oh man, I was in the middle of that search. Now I've got to start all over. You don't. You just go back to that recent searches and it'll pull up that information. Okay. The other thing that you can do is, if you remember, instead of hopping out of this search to go look up what they're asking you to do, here on the top gray toolbar, there's a little box with an arrow shooting out of the upper right corner. If you click on that, it's going to open up a new BAREIS window for you. This is the only way to open up multiple BAREIS windows at the same time. If I just go to a blank tab and type it in, it will log me out of the first one. But if I click on the little box with the arrow, it'll open up a whole new window for me, which will allow me to look at whatever it was that somebody called and asked about without closing out of my original search. So you've got a couple of options there. Let's say that somebody called up and they wanted me to just look at like a property information. I could just type in here on this top address bar. That's what this is for. We can just type in the address and it'll pull up any listings that match that criteria there. Okay. So like 244 Oxford, because it has the word Ford in it, F-O-R-D, it's pulling that up. Same with the 244 Ford or Dartford, right? Stanford. So it pulls all that information up because it's got that in it. So that information, when you plug something in here, I usually leave off like the suffix, the street, the drive, because sometimes people spell them out and sometimes they're abbreviated. And if you abbreviate it, like road, then it's only going to search for ones that were abbreviated versus if I spell it out, then it searches for ones that are whole. So just kind of keep that in mind. All right. The other search that I love to use is under searches, the interactive map. So the standard search and the interactive map are really the only two searches that I actually use on here to do basic searches. This one we talked about a little bit last week when we covered the CMA report. So I'm not going to cover it in too much detail, but there are some cool features here. Number one, you can center on a listing. So if you type in the address, it'll auto-populate and then you can click on that one. So it recenters the map. So that you can play around with it. In this, it's only going to show you when you toggle over to, if we go over to a list, it's only going to show us what we see on the screen. Okay, so just kind of keep that in mind. Okay, so you're only going to see what's on the screen. Okay. The other thing that you'll see here is number one, you can draw. So your search criteria here is over on the right-hand side. You click the box. It's got all the information there. If you have information, it's not as in depth as the previous search. So you can add fields by clicking the fields button. Okay. The other thing that you can do is you can draw on this one. So if you want just a specific neighborhood, we can go draw in the polygon. And then it'll just pull us listings inside that polygon. Or if we go to edit, now it's going to exclude listings that are in outside that polygon. So anything in there, it's not going to include. So if you've got a person who's like, well, I want all the properties in Vacaville, but I don't want this neighborhood, then you can draw a circle or a shape around that neighborhood, and I can come over here and hit exclude, and then it's going to include all the listings except what's inside that box versus only including the listings inside that box. So it's a good way to exclude areas that our clients aren't interested in. Okay, the other thing that you can do, so to edit any of your draw boxes. Yeah.
I have a question about that. How do you set up your client on a home search using the interactive map?
Yeah, so absolutely. There's a couple different ways to do it. That since I'm in here already, the one way to do it is I would just come in here to prospecting. Now that once I have the criteria set up on this map for their search, I can come into prospecting. I can say, hey, we want to save it as a new prospect, or we want to save to an existing prospect. Okay, so if you've already got them in your system as a prospect, this is a really good way to do that. We just hit add, and then it'll add this interactive map search to their search criteria. So that's the easiest way if you're already in there. And here's, you're going to name it. So we're going to say new map search and hit save. So that's how you would do it there. And then hit the update button. Once, if you do it this way, make sure you go in there and hit the update button, because that's what's going to trigger it actually to add them to the cart and send those listings out. Now, if I was inside the list, the contact, so here I am inside that contact, if I go down to their saved searches and I go add a search, right, or I'm setting them up initially. Hold on, this prospect obviously isn't set up appropriately. Hold on. All right, there we go. Then I hit add a search. Instead of standard, which is what it defaults to, you want to go map. Okay, and then you can put like Vacaville map, right? Remember, they're going to see that search name, so you want to make sure you type in something that's going to be appealing to them. You're going to hit submit. Then it's going to pull up that interactive map for you to set up all the criteria for that search. So you can do it either from just the regular interactive map search and then save it as prospecting, or you can go into your contacts or clients or set up a new one. And then inside their search, you can set it up as a new search. Just make sure you select map from that drop down. Is that helpful?
Yes, thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. So those are the two ways that I like to search from this map search, just so you know too. Like if I draw a square, you can, oops, let's just go like this. Okay, see how it got rid of all the other listings outside of that. It only pulled them inside the box. You can click on it to get the information. If I click on it again, it'll pull up an overview of that property. It's not in depth. If I want the full report, I'm going to make sure that my search is all in the window, and then Usually it gives me, oh, it's because I'm adding this to their cart. So hold on, we're going to hit add listings to prospects cart. Now this search, and then hit update, make sure you hit update. Now this search has been saved to that prospect and all those listings were added to their cart. And when I hit update, it sent out that email to that client. All right, we're going to go back to that home dashboard. I just want to show you a couple more things on that map search. So remember under recent searches, because I left the recent search to go into that prospect, to show you how to save it under the prospect. So I can just come back and go, hey, map search. That's what I want to pull back up. So here's that original map search that I'd started. If I wanted to see the listings that are, oops, let's get less listings. The listings that are here displayed on my screen, on this upper right-hand side, it's got displays. I would just click over to the one-line grid. And now it's going to pull up that one-line grid. Okay, so that's, you can toggle between the map search and the one-line grid. So all the listings that were showing on that map are now in the grid, and I can toggle back over to the map view. Okay, I can also go back into revise that criteria by just clicking on the search criteria, and I could update what I'm looking for there. Okay, so that's that, the map versus the standard search. You've got lots of options across the top. I do recommend, number one, that you set yourself up as a prospect. So that would be under contacts, prospects. You can set yourself up. I recommend that you do that so that you can play around with your options and different things, and kind of mess with it, see what it looks like when it actually emails out to you, so that way you've got somebody to play with. So like when I save this search, I got myself set up in there multiple times, in fact. But so I just saved it to me so that I could see what that process looked like. Okay, so now let's say that we're going to select some listings. So I'm going to click on this one. So to select a listing, you would just check the little box. This one's active, right? Here's another active one. So maybe I've got a client that wants to see properties in this area. I'm going to move them all to active, right? So now I've got checked boxes. To pull that checked back up, I just hit the checked here. Here's the listings that I want to see. And then maybe I want to go schedule showings to those. I can say, hey, check all. Oh, no, don't do that. Uncheck all. Let's go back and select the ones that I wanted. We're going to pick 4 of them. All right. Then I'm going to go to, why? Be nice. Be nice. All right. We can go in here to schedule a showing. Well, okay, before we go there, let me show you. We can also add these to a cart. And why would we want to add listings to a cart? If I was setting up a showing for a client, I may want to go in there and pick the ones that they wanted to see and add them to a cart. So I could add to an existing cart, new cart, yeah, right, whatever it might be. Usually what I would do here is I'd say, hey, add to new cart. I'm going to name this Adriana. I'm going to go show Adriana properties, and we're seeing them later today. So I'm going to label it 1217. This way I have a list of all the properties that I'm going to show to her today. And I've got a history of all the properties that we've seen. I'm going to hit add. Okay, so now it added these 4 properties to a cart for me. Why is that important? Well, from our BAREIS app on our phone, if we open that up and go to listings, you'll see carts, and then I can pull up that cart and pull up the listings that I'm seeing today to get the information on them really quick. Okay, fastest way to get the information on the cart that way, or on listings that way, when we're actually seeing the property. The other thing is maybe I'm seeing a couple here. They want to see a couple over in the Thomas. They want to see a couple over in Roseville. I could pull up the listings they want to see here. I could search them by address. So maybe, right? So I could search here by address. Pull it up. I'm running out of things to share with you. All right. Sorry, I've got a banshee, right? So we could pull up these. I could click on this one. And from here, so just an address search, I can hit, hey, add that one to a cart, add to existing cart. I would go down here and find the one that I just created and hit add. Okay, so now it's added that listing. So you can search by address. So if a client sends you a list of 5 listings that they want to go see, that's the quickest way to get into those listings. Okay. So now what I would do is I would go into cart. I would go find that cart once I've saved the listings that I want to see to it. Now it's pulled up all 5 listings that I saved to that cart. Now I can select this box here. I can hit, and now if I'm going to schedule, I can hit schedule a showing. Okay, here we're going to hit add to showing cart. This is taking us into ShowingTime. Not all properties are available on ShowingTime, but this is a good way to start and a good way to get them listed on there. Okay, so if I were going to go see it today, I would do that and just hit OK. So now it's opened up ShowingTime. Oh, name your tour. Anna 1217. Okay. All right. So here it's got those listings listed. I can go, hey, smart route. And it's going to automatically optimize that route for me. So even if I'm not going to set them all up in ShowingTime, now it's like, hey, we're going to start here, then we're going to go here, and then we're going to end over here at 3 and 4. So super easy way to do a smart route. We can go turn-by-turn directions as well, where it pulls up those turn-by-turn directions for us. You could print that out. I don't think this one gives you the option to send them to your phone. I don't think you can actually pull it up in Google Maps. I could be wrong. I'm trying to shrink my screen just a little bit so I can see the, the very bottom of it. All right, there we go. So that allows you to be able to do that. Okay. Then what you can do is you can see who's set up to see through ShowingTime. We can pick a time. You can actually request them through here as well. So if I was going to start the appointment at 9:45, say 5:15, we would select that time, start time, end time. I usually go 45 minutes. So if I start at 5:15, I'm going to go 5:45 and hit save. Then this is just going to allow you to do that. If the properties are set up in ShowingTime, oops, it's actually going to allow you to send those requests off straight from here. If not, it just put them in order for us so we know what the quickest order was and we didn't have to do it, and then allowed us to kind of time it out so that we can make those requests. Okay, it also, notice here, like this one on Nareb, it says go and show. So I don't even need an appointment for that one. So super cool. You can add other stops or other listing stops in here as well. Okay, so that's how you get from BAREIS over to ShowingTime. The other thing that you can do here is if we were in the map, so I'm just going to toggle from one line grid over to map view of those listings. It's got those ones that are checked. I can come into more and I can go routing. I can hit add checked. Okay, once I have them in the order that I want to go in, then I can say, hey, get directions. And the way that you order those, just so you know, is we would go more routing. These little boxes here, if we can just click and drag those arrows around to change the order. Here, it's going to pull up those directions in Google Maps for us. And then what you can do is you can send those directions directly to your phone. Okay, so that then it's on your phone. You just pull it up, you plug your phone into your car or Bluetooth it, and then it's already got the directions ready to go from one house to another for you. So again, that was going through BAREIS. We just hit get directions after we went to more and routing. Okay, so we went more here on the white toolbar, routing. You can also go map report, right? But that routing is what takes you to that next where you can actually pull up those directions. Any questions about that? All right, the other thing, oh, go ahead.
I just said no.
Oh, fabulous. The other thing that you can do inside of this map search is it's got this layers button. This is the coolest thing ever. I don't know how much it has in Sacramento, but we can go to layers. We can go parcels. Oh yeah, this one's kind of lame. All right, hold on. Let's go to oh, that's not where I want to do it. We want to go to Vacaville. All right. Then we're going to go layers here. All right. Here it allows us to pull up the parcels, which gives us, if we click that, it's going to zoom us in and it's going to pull up the parcel lines. There. So now you can see kind of where the lines go. Keep in mind that these lines are not very accurate. And if you click on one, it gives you the details for that parcel information. So if you're looking at who owns a neighbor property to one of your listings or something, this is a good way to get their information, both the site address and the mailing address. Hold on, we're going to zoom in on a neighborhood real quick. But do keep in mind that these maps aren't 100% accurate. They're usually off just a little bit, but it gives you a pretty good idea of like the shape of that parcel. Oops. What it looks like, so that you can see kind of the size and idea. And again, if you click on it, it'll give you that parcel information. The other thing that you can do, I'm trying to get you guys off my screen so that I can see here what we're doing. All right. You can go, hey, we want parcel acres. All right, click the little X to get that. Now it tells us how big each parcel is in acreage. If we wanted the address, we could hit that little address button there. And then it tells us the street numbers. We could go parcel dimensions, and it tells us how long each property line is. The front one of this one is 43. This is 166. And then you've got 18 on this weird side. And right. So if somebody's like, well, I actually had somebody ask me one time, like how big the property line was, how long the property line was that faced the street. If we wanted unimproved parcels, you got that one, or vacant property based on those registered with the USPS. You can also, the other cool thing that you can do from here under layers is we can go down here to hazards. And that would allow you to pull up the FEMA flood data, right? Whether it's in a high area that might require flood insurance or whether it doesn't require flood insurance. So if we zoom out there, we can see the different flood zones. Okay. Purple areas, orange areas. If we scroll up this way, right? So there you go. So you can kind of see what that is. So this purple area, that's, you know, shallow flooding. You're probably going to need flood insurance. Okay. You could also go into fire hazards. So if you want to see if a property was in a very high fire hazard severity zone versus not. These are all knots, but if we zoom out further, we will pull up different as we venture into the country. And then you can see that if you click on that, there's yellow, there's orange, there's red. I made them all just disappear. If we click on the orange, it's going to say, hey, this is a high fire zone. And you can actually exclude this area from the search. So somebody's like, I don't want to live in an area where I'm going to pay $12,000 a year in insurance. You can click on those and you can exclude them from your search. Gone. Okay. So you've got some options there. That's all, again, under layers. Okay. I shrunk it down, so it took my layers away. Hold on. Thinking really hard. So that's under you can only do that on the interactive map search, and then you go layers. So there's kind of your options there under that map. You can play around on that, but it makes it fun. You can also see the county recorded sales. So if you're looking for what like new homes have sold for, that's the county recorded sales in a new home area. You can pull that data up that's not being recorded yet or not on the MLS. Let's see here. So that takes care of searches. Listings is where you're going to input and edit all your existing listings. This trends report, we probably will cover on a whole nother day because it's fascinating, but we'll hop over there here in a second. Carts, I showed you. Contacts, this is where you'd put people in for those searches. You just go contacts, prospects. You would go create new contact. Here again, I'm back to, hey, just fill in the red thing. So I put in the contact name, the group, the email. They have to have an email. Most of this stuff is tracked in my CRM, so I'm not worried about it tracking on my BAREIS. I just want to be able to send them listings. To be able to send listings, we're in a, hold on. All right. You have to have an email in there and groups assigned. Okay, and then when you come down here, do you want auto prospecting? You would click, yes, I do. And then it's going to say, hey, when do you want that to start? And this is where we want listings automatically emailed out to the client. Okay, and then is there a specific end date? It automatically goes for a year. And then how frequent do you want it sent? If it's somebody who's looking for properties right now, you'd want it ASAP. You may want them once a day, you may want them once a week, or you may want them once a month. So if you've got somebody who you're like, hey, I just want to send a market update basically to them, I'm going to use BAREIS to do that. They might just get an update monthly. Whereas if it's somebody who's not yet pre-approved, we may just send them like daily or weekly an update so they can be kept in the loop. Okay. So that's once you've got that, you hit save. Then you change, so that auto prospecting is what turns that on. And then here's where you set up the searches. So that's where you'd hit add a search. And I kind of walked you through this a little bit ago. You can go standard search or that map search for the interactive map. This search name, just keep in mind that they're going to see that. So in the email that comes across, they're going to see that search name. And so you want to make sure it's not like search for dummy or, you know, whatever it is. Make it like your new home search or your new home in Vacaville, your new home with a pool, right? Something fun. You're going to hit submit once you have that in there. And then you'll just enter in all that criteria that you want. You're going to hit save and then update. Okay. To get back to that contact, you just hit contacts. Go back in. Here's as you were looking at the contacts, here's where it shows any information about them. You can actually create a new search from this page. So once they're set up, you can add new searches here. You can see what's in their cart. So this is newly matched. It would have how many listings are in their saved or agent recommended or rejected pile. Here is hidden listings if you want them to show that. And then this is saying, hey, the auto prospecting has been enabled. If the invitation was sent for the client portal, you would see that the invitation was sent and the last time they logged in to that portal. Okay, if they've never logged in, like this one, the invitation was sent, but they've never actually logged in, then we may want to follow up with them, especially if they're supposed to be looking at properties. So it gives us some good details there. Here, this one invitation was not sent, so they haven't looked at it, but you can see who logged in there. The other thing that you can do is they can send you messages through here. So if they send a message or you assigned it a task through here, it's going to show up over here. If they had a message sent, all of mine are cleared, but it looks like it's got like a little, oh wait, maybe over here. If they sent you a message, it would be over here with a little like mailbox. Okay, so that's how to navigate. If you wanted to see what's in their box, we just scroll over here to this number. We click on that little hyperlink and it's going to pull up their newly matched listings. And then from here, you could be like, oh, well, we don't want withdrawn and canceled and closed. So I'm going to take those two and I'm going to move them to the rejected box. So we just click on those. We hit more and then we move to rejected. If there were properties we were going to go see, we might want to move them to the saved box. So they show up there and they're saved because they were interested in them. Okay, so now I added those two properties to the rejected tab. So now under agent rejected, it shows up there. Okay, so that's how to navigate through those contacts. If you wanted to turn off a search, we just go back into that contact. If it's got a check mark by it, that means the search is on. Versus if it's unchecked, that means it's off and it's not going to run an auto send to them anymore. If we wanted to change the criteria of a search, we would come over here to revise criteria. You could view the criteria or you could delete that search as well. Okay, the other thing that you can do is this is the auto prospecting email. So right now I've got it set for auto prospecting, but no emails are going out. So it's just pulling that information and adding it to their cart, but it's not actually sending them that information. So if I wanted it to send them that information, we would say use daily summary or use prospect schedule. So you've got to get an email yourself if you have them set up on auto. Daily summary just is, hey, once a day it says, here's the new listings that were sent to the contact. That's usually what I go. And then include updates for price and status. Okay, send auto prospecting email to the prospect. This is where it's actually going to send something to the client. So you'd want to toggle that to yes. Do not show this prompt again. It's going to send them an opt-in email. So you want to make sure your clients are aware of that they need to opt in to get copies of those listings. Okay. And then include updates. Do we want price and status? I usually say yes. And I usually don't have them give us updates for the rejected. Okay. Send auto prospecting email to CC. So if there's a spouse, then this is where you could put the spouse's email in here so they both get that information. Here's the email format, report format. So you can play around with that, send it to yourself, change it up so you can see what it looks like. And then how often do you want it going? I have this one set to ASAP, as soon as possible. Anytime a new listing comes on the market, it's going to send them over an email. This next button down here is the client portal. That is what allows them to go in there, set up their own searches and sort those listings in their cart. Okay, so that's that invite, and I can send now or send later. Okay, and do we want the client portal activity alerts to agent? That would be yes. How often? Once a day, not at all, whatever you want to do. Okay, and this is, hey, what's going to show up in their cart? If you say, hey, I don't want sold off MLS properties in there, then anything sold off MLS isn't going to show up. It's going to take it out of their cart automatically. And this reverse prospecting down here at the bottom is for agents can go in there and search for other agents that have clients set up with property searches that match maybe a listing they have getting ready to come on the market, or maybe they're getting ready to do a price reduction. They want to let some people know. It doesn't give them access to contact your client, just contact you in the case that they've got somebody that matches or a property that matches. So that's what the reverse prospecting is. Once you've got everything saved, you're going to hit that save button and it will update that client so that they're getting all of those alerts. Questions or thoughts or anything else that you need me to show you inside of BAREIS?
I have a quick question, Amy.
Yeah.
Very simple for you. On the home screen, when you rearrange where the squares are,
yeah,
how do you save that?
That's a good question. Usually there's a little save button and I'm not seeing it today. So I'm not exactly sure today how to edit that. I would have said it was inside of settings, layout tile, appointment tasks. I would have said it was there, but it didn't save it even when I went over there. So so apparently today you can't modify where they're at.
Okay.
I told you could, and I lied because I can't figure out how to save it.
I caught you.
Yeah, you did. I did mention that but I think it was when you briefly logged off. I had mentioned that I wasn't saving. So, usually, okay, let's try this dashboard. Oh, here, I know how. You could create a new dashboard.
Oh, okay.
So maybe in there, but maybe not. I can't make any guarantees right now on this dashboard because normally there's like a little save button and it's just not, it's not there.
I never even thought to use those, and now I will use them. I like them.
But there's lots of handy tools on here. The recent searches is on there, jumping to your listings. You've got those market watches, right? So I set up that other one so you could edit that and you can mess with it.
This is a very simple question.
Yeah.
What's the difference between a search and a hot sheet?
Yeah, absolutely. So a hot sheet allows you, so if we go searches and then we go hot sheet, your hot sheet allows you to look at just a period of time. So I could say, hey, I want all new listings that came on the market on November 1st, or I just want to go back like 30 days, right? So this one allows you like, hey, we want all the new, instead of putting a date there, I can say, hey, I want all the new listings in the last week. Okay, so we can go date range or we can go days back. So it'll, and then you would select, hey, here's what you want on there. And then let's limit that down to, we'll go Vacaville. So this goes back, hey, we've got 31 properties that came on the market in the last 7 days. And the nice thing about this is that if I put in a date here, I'd be stuck with those dates where anytime I pull up this hot sheet search, it's going to automatically pull up the last 7 days. So I could hit save and schedule. And I could say, this is going to be Vacaville 7 days. And hit save. Now that search has been saved, so from my home page, there's a little box called hot sheets. Somewhere, saved hot sheets. I can find that Vacaville 7 days. And anytime I click on this, it's going to pull the listings over the last 7 days. So I don't have to worry about changing up dates or anything. So like, if you were going to do like a monthly market update with the number of listings that came on the market or the number of listings that went contingent, this is a great way to do it because you could set it for, hey, 30 days. And then every time I do it, it's pulling the last 30 days details for that. So that's the joy of the hot sheet, is it gives you a little bit more flexibility.
Great. I like it.
Yeah. They've got some great tools in here. Any other questions?
Not right now, no.
All right. Fabulous. Then that's all I got for you guys today. We are back tomorrow with something spectacular. Let's see what we got tomorrow. Just pulling up my calendar. Tomorrow we have zip forms and AuthentiSigns. We'll be talking about zip forms, how to navigate through zip forms, the editing, adding documents, and then also how to send it out through the free signing service. And then on Thursday, we'll be talking about new home source, home light listing management, and Glide. So that'll be on Thursday. So tomorrow is all things zip forms. And then the next day is kind of some of the bonus tools that we have available to us. Okay.
Thank you very much.
You are welcome. Thanks for joining me today, guys. We will see you tomorrow. Same link, same time.